one and all to the K.O.E Nation for this very long anticipated review of Woodford Reserve. Oh, very, very special barrel select Sonoma triple finish. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in wine and brandy barrels. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. And I am here with my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
the 16-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, non-chill filtered, quadruple distilled, blendmaster ceremonies himself, Tony fucking G. This is going to be hopefully delicious. I have a lot of interest here. This is very unique. This is very different. And these Woodford Master Collections, they like to hit on some tasting notes that you wouldn't typically think with bourbon. This is limited edition series number 19, 90.4 proof, 45.2 ABV. So I'm kind of intrigued. It's not super high proof, but it's going to have a very unique and distinguished flavor profile.
So shall we?
We shall.
Now, Tony, you've got 20/20 vision. So why don't you get into that tiny, almost microscopic print there? I mean, it's amazing that a human eye could even perceive it.
I won't look at the tasting notes. In 2004, the Woodford Reserve Distillery introduced a new era of innovation to the historic Kentucky bourbon industry with the first release of its Master Collection, 4-grain. For this 2023 release, Master Distiller Elizabeth McCall has drawn upon prior creative releases and continued product experimentation for inspiration. In 2014, the Master Collection released its first Pinot Noir finished Kentucky bourbon in history, Sonoma Couture Pinot Finish. This was followed in 2016 with the first ever American brandy cask finished bourbon. The Pinot Noir and the brandy barrels used for those releases were obtained from famous Sonoma County wineries.
Ooh.
These releases featured big, bold, red, and dried fruit flavors along with dark chocolate and baking spice notes. At the same time, many wineries began to age their red wines in used Woodford Reserve barrels to create a new bourbon barrel-aged genre. These wines featured rich vanilla and caramel notes. Consumer response to all three has been overwhelmingly positive.
Let's hear it.
Not bad. This inspired Elizabeth to experiment with various combinations of the three, including finishing, turning the page, Woodford in a Sonoma County wine barrel that had originally been used to mature Woodford Reserve. The result, Sonoma Triple Finish, is a unique blend of Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey that has been finished in Sonoma County Pinot Noir, brandy, and former bourbon barrels used to age red wine. Sonoma Triple Finish is a rich, fruity vanilla and spice-forward expression of Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. That was a mouthful.
That smells delicious.
All right, let's give it a whiff. Oh, wow.
You get a lot of that red wine and brandy influence.
Yeah, brandy for sure. There's a cherry bourbon. And I don't mean this as an insult, but it's gonna sound like an insult. Like Jim Beam Red Stag, which smells delicious, tastes like shit.
No, this is more like that old granddad cherry bomb on the nose.
It's more pleasant like that, for sure. Wow. Yeah, this is a 5-star nose all the way.
Excellent nose.
On that,
Sanjava.
very light. A little oily.
Boy, you can tell the red wine influence.
Heavy, dry.
Yeah, it really sucks the moisture out of your mouth quickly.
It evaporates quick, and it takes your saliva with it. Yeah. And I'm not.
Right. All right, this is gonna sound weird. It's reminding me of like a dry martini.
Yeah, no.
That's.
I'm not a huge red wine fan, a dry red, because it takes all the moisture. You want to be frothing at the mouth when you drink these things.
If you were to make me try this blind, I would not think Woodford. This doesn't match its house style. This is completely different.
That said, there's a very grape and prune aftertaste. It's actually very bold and sweet. with a, but then it's got another lingering wine
It's
taste
like
on the back end as well.
over-dried raisin.
Yeah, I was going to
Because,
say
like,
raisin for sure.
Sometimes if you get those over-dry ones, it does suck the moisture out of your mouth.
So on the color, it's a burnt sienna. That checks out.
Mm-hmm.
But aroma, vanilla and cinnamon.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, dusted grilled pineapple slices and red plum fruit. I don't get that at all. Like it's
Red plum fruit, yeah.
sure. Flavor, vine and red fruit warmed with rich vanilla bean and oak notes. That kind of checks out. Finish, long oak and red grape tannins. That I would agree with.
So T,
It's really nice though.
This is
It's not. I mean, like I said, I don't like dry reds, but this is really
now.
nice.
It was either this or a Woodford Reserve wheat whiskey
You made the right choice.
that was finished. And do you even need to know?
Wheat barrels.
It was finished in Madeira. Now you know how we love Madeira.
I love Madeira.
But if I would have showed up with a wheat whiskey finished in Madeira for you to have, I wasn't expecting to walk out of that Christmas exchange without a black eye.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, the wheat whiskey tournament will be dropping soon, and you'll see why. But well, T, now we get to the very interesting part.
This is very interesting. This is
The grading.
very unique.
Now, for those who don't know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to be grading this, Tony, as a Woodford release, as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit. It's shelving, and for those new to the show, it's called a hook in Hollywood. The secret 6th question. So, Tony, and yes, when I talk about hook, I'm not talking about Taz's son. Okay,
That's a reference nobody watching this got. So
that's hey, give me credit. Give me credit.
right.
So
Much stronger nose now.
as a Woodford release, T, we've reviewed a few of them.
Yeah, and this is not
House style.
house style at all. I'll give this a 3 as a Woodford. I really like it when they get sweet and caramelly and peanut brittly with Woodfords, and I think you know exactly which batch I'm talking about. So yeah, I'll give this a 3 as a Woodford.
I hate to agree, but I'm going to agree because this doesn't excel, but it's good.
It's
but
very nice.
But yeah, it's not the house style. Now, let's get into bourbon.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, 275 as a bourbon because it doesn't hit any of those notes.
I'm gonna go 2.5 as a bourbon because this is
2.5, so
this
right in
is
the middle.
This is not archetype bourbon.
It's not what you think of when you think of bourbon?
This is experimental bourbon, and they did something very unique here. That's not gonna. It's not gonna hit home for a lot of.
They're probably never going to do something like this ever again.
Right, and this is gonna be more of a not a sought after type finish for bourbon connoisseurs, but for the right palate, this is gonna be absolutely majestic. So, I think 2.5.
Thank you. As a whiskey,
I'm gonna give this 3.85 as a whiskey.
385. You're even breaking the scales.
I am, because I can't give it 4 because it's so niche, but damn, this is nice.
I'm going to give it 375 as a whiskey. Now, here's where I do give it 4 stars as a cask-aged spirit. Because this is a 5-star nose. Unfortunately, the palate isn't matching how good the nose is.
As a cask age, I'm going to go 4.5 because this is masterful. And I mean, they explained it perfectly in the novel that was with the bottle.
Am I wrong, though?
No.
The nose is better than the palate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so it's kind of got that Macallan quality.
I can agree, but
even if that's not how you view Macallan, that's how I always view, like, okay, to you Macallan lovers out there, I've always had this problem. Macallan's nose is so hauntingly good that the palate just never lives up to it. And so maybe I'm kind of setting myself up for failure whenever I get into the Macallan, because their noses are just like olfactory art Okay, I know I'm gushing a little bit, but it's
So,
worth it. And
I-
this is olfactory art. And so, yeah, you know what? I'm going to kick it up to 4.25 on that one.
I'm going with 4.5 because obviously the casting was the reason that this is as nice and unique as it is. But I think they also nailed it with the proof because a higher proof would not have necessarily made this better. I think this was exactly the proof that it needed to be. So I think the casting is.
You know, yeah, I think a little extra bite wouldn't have really.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped.
Because I think, yeah, all the casting came together just right.
That's right, yeah.
Here's the problem. We can't tell if this was a fix or an improvement.
Yeah, and I don't think this is a fix. I don't think it was, but that's where you get a lot of those experimental bottles.
Well, I mean, like, I get the feeling that, like, they're like, all right, let's barrel it in this. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that.
No.
And then we got to 3 barrels, and then we got something really good. So, now we get to the shelving.
This is it's a great brand. Love Woodford, and the aesthetic is very appealing. It's a limited run.
It's
a
a
top
handsome
shelf.
bottle.
It's a top shelf bottle for sure. In appearance alone, the whiskey inside more of a middle shelf. So
Yeah.
I would probably put it on the top though because it's so unique.
Yeah, just because, well, you'll see why. I would agree with you on that one. Now, the secret 6th question: when this bottle runs empty, will we seek another one? This one was just shy of $200 USD. It's a lot of scratch in this economy. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna be honest. My answer would be no.
I'd probably seek a different variety from the Masters collection.
Very true. Because
There's
that's
so
a lot
many.
of scratch, and
And if you're
want
going to spend the money, you want to experience all of them.
or at least as many as you
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
about to say, like, calm down, Rockefeller. Ain't nobody got the kind of scratched experience all of them anymore.
No,
Not in this economy.
no, but that said, I'm enjoying this.
It is lovely.
Yeah.
So, Tony, wow, finished your vegetables.
Twice.
As I'm known to say around here, all that being said, that has been this review of Woodford Reserve Master Collection Triple Cask Finished. I am your King of Extreme, Phil, K.O.E. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. And I can't wait to see all of you right back here at the K.O.E Nation. Tony, take it away.
Once again, as always, thank you for joining us for this unique Woodford Reserve Masters Collection Taste Test Review. You can find me at Linktree/Tony the Rod for all my podcasting and socials, and we will catch you on the next one.